Well, he did it. Mitt Romney has finally thrown us a bone. Mitt Romney has picked a solid, smart conservative for his vice presidential running mate. Yes, it is another northern white guy, but a darn good one. He could have caved into the hype. He could have picked Condoleezza Rice, a strong national defense pick, but somebody who lacks, solid conservative principles. He could have picked the mirror image of himself, a guy who has had many less than conservative positions, Tim Pawlenty. Then have two guys that were, had to have the come to Jesus kind of speech with everybody. He could have picked another boring milquetoast iceberg lettuce with no dressing kind of pick. But that is not where Mitt Romney went. Mitt Romney chose Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan, this should speak volumes to the Tea Party, because I really don't believe this is just this isn't a pick where Joe Biden and President Obama, they don't do anything together. Come on. They have lunch together when the photographers show up. Do you think Joe Biden and Barack Obama even talk to each other, really? Do you think it's like, hey, Joe, how you been? What happened with your weekend? Good to see you this Monday morning. They don't know. No. Joe Biden was selected because of his union creds. That's it. That's the only reason Joe Biden was selected. This guy was selected because of his budget credibility. This, to me, signals that Mitt Romney is serious about fixing the economy, serious about fixing the budget, serious about cutting the size of federal government. That is tremendous news. Tremendous news. I will tell you that Pat and I had a conversation with a congressman who was all for Mitt Romney, when was it, 6 months ago? And we were screaming at this guy. What the hell is wrong with you? And he said, I have to tell you, you guys don't know. He is dead serious about the budget. And in this conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, in this conversation, he said, Romney came to him and said, are you guys going to be able to stand when I have to make all the cuts that I have to make? And he said, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the congressman said, this is the way I remember it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you'll remember it right. The congressman said, yeah, well, you do a 10-year thing. And he said, 10 years? 4. We have 4 years to do this.
Yeah, he was stronger than the congressman was.
Yeah, and the congressman is one that you would respect. Mm-hmm. The congressman is one that you would say, that's a strong budget guy. And he shocked, Romney shocked the congressman. I think this is a tremendous sign. I think this is something that shows me that Romney is not talk. He really does mean it. I think this is great. Paul Ryan, with the Paul Ryan budget, champion of individualism, not collectivism. That's another important thing. You've now got the top of the ticket and the secondary part of the ticket that knows exactly where our rights come from. He is also pro-life. Pro-life, God-fearing, and isn't afraid in the announcement to say our rights do not come from the government.
Our rights come from nature and God, not from governments. That's right. That's who we are. That's how we built this country.
This is something that is not lip service coming from Paul Ryan. This is something coming from Paul Ryan. He means it. And I will tell you this. I know that Mitt Romney believes the same thing. I know that Mitt Romney is a God-fearing man. Paul Ryan is a God-fearing man who also believes rights come from nature and nature's God, to quote the founders. Paul Ryan also is a guy who can answer in the pocket of Obama media questions without getting tongue-tied. Listen to this.
I'm just going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Do you think he's been too defensive about Bain Capital and
not at
about
all.
his role as governor of Massachusetts?
What I see happening is the president has a terrible record, so he can't run on that. He didn't moderate his positions whatsoever throughout his term. So he doesn't really have much to run on, so he's going to try and run on these distractions. He's going to try and divide people, to distract people, to try and win this election, and that's why these attacks against a record that is outstanding. It's a record of creating businesses and turning around struggling businesses. That's what we want to see happen throughout the country because it creates more jobs, it creates better take-home pay, it gives people better futures. Why wouldn't we want a leader like that who knows how to make those kinds of executive decisions in the White House to help us turn this economy around?
Thank you. Thank you. Finally, somebody who can stick it right back into the face of the administration shills during network interviews and can handle himself. And that'd be a nice change. Has Mitt been too defensive on the Bain Capital effects? Are you kidding me? They called him a liar. They even called him or alluded to him being a felon. They've alleged massive tax evasion with zero evidence. They've even alleged that he's responsible for a woman's death. Let's see. Defensive? No, I don't think so. No, not defensive. No. In Paul Ryan, we have a man who can redirect the questions back to the source of the problem, and that is Barack Obama.
You said yesterday, I'm going to quote you, Mr. Ryan, America is a place where if you work hard and play by the rules, you can get ahead. But the fact is, a lot of people don't think that's true anymore. They don't think the rules are fair. They think corporations and rich people are getting all these breaks, and they're getting stuck with paying the bills. They see some of the wealthiest paying the lowest tax rates. How are you going to fix that?
What I see is a new amount of crony capitalism and corporate welfare, which both parties have been engaged in, but the president has brought this to a whole new level, where President Obama is picking winners and losers based on connections, based on fads like Solyndra, and basically giving handouts to businesses, giving preferences to the tax code. We want to get Washington out of the business of picking winners and losers. We want entrepreneurs to have the barriers removed from in front of them so that people can work hard and succeed. We want to turn the American idea back on. We want a system of upward mobility, and what we think we need to do is bring fairness back to the system by getting government bureaucracy and political clout out of the system. Those are the kinds of reforms we've been talking about.
Doesn't fairness dictate that the wealthiest people should not be paying the lowest taxes? Because that's what's happening many times.
Well, fairness dictates that the highest income people should pay the greatest share of taxes, and they do. And the commitment that I've made is we will not have the top income earners in this country pay a smaller share of the tax burden. The highest income people will continue to pay the largest share of the tax burden, and middle income taxpayers under my plan get a break. Their taxes come down.
Not a bad start. Not a bad start before the campaign has really even started.